Welcome to Swing and a Miss. Thank you to everybody who listened to episodes 1 and 2. We're really excited to bring you episode 3 today. Really quickly, if anybody was turned off or scared by the inside baseball talk of episodes 1 and 2, I can promise you today's episode is much more fun, a little bit more lighthearted, and I think everybody's going to find something they can resonate with. So with nothing further, enjoy. Welcome into episode 3 of Swing and a Miss. Thank you guys so much. Those of you that listened to episode 1 and 2, we appreciate it very much. Today is going to be a little unconventional. We have no desire to be a show that's going to sit down and talk about the standings. We gave our predictions in episodes 1 and 2, and we do not want to come here every other week and tell you what has happened that you've already seen and what's going on with each team. So today's topics will be a little off the board, but we think it'll be fun. We're really excited about it. Quick note, Nels is actually out on assignment today, so he's not here, but Rodrigo, Josh, and Tyler are here. Say hi, everybody.
What's up?
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Thank you guys so much. And with no further ado, let's get into it. So we're, a week and a half? A week and 3/4 into the season? Something like that?
We'll call it one full week.
Yeah, we'll go one full week, maybe a little bit further. And we wanted to start with something really interesting and fun. And I'm going to kick it over to Tyler to give us the first topic because this is going to be a very Tyler topic heavy episode. Tyler came up with some great topics that we're going to bounce back and forth with each other. We're going to talk about, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, so obviously we're really early into the season. And in the spring, everyone's got the best of hopes for their team, whether it's to win the World Series, improve, whatever that might be. But a weekend now, reality has smashed us in the face, and some teams are feeling a little more dubious about their chances for the upcoming season. Now, mind you, a lot of season left to go. There's a lot of time that we still have to play. But I want to go over which fan bases are looking at the season right now and feeling the most optimistic, and which fan bases are looking at the season right now and feeling a very uneasy feeling in their stomach, not sure whether they're going to be ready to stick this out for the next 6 months. So, as a Minnesota Twins fan, I will start off and say this season has been off to an awful start. The strength that I felt would be of the Twins team has been pitching. I thought that our rotation was going to be really solid. I had good hopes for our bullpen. But I have proven that my faith in those departments may have been misplaced. We have seen serious implosions on the starting pitching side, giving up multiple runs to offenses that I'm not going to describe as high-powered in the St. Louis Cardinals, and even in the Houston Astros, where I feel like there are scary hitters on that team, but it's not the team that it once was. But watching the Twins over the past week, I felt like I might be in for a bit of pain for the next 6 months.
And I was actually at the game yesterday on Sunday, and my wife and I were at the game, and she turns to me in, I believe it was the 5th, maybe the 6th inning when it was 7-1, and she's like, "They got this in the bag." And I was like, I don't know. I really don't know, because they're going to yank the starter. They're going to yank the starter, and we don't know what this bullpen can do. And lo and behold, 9-7 in the 10th. Game over. Houston wins.
I think we know what the bullpen can do, and that's give up runs.
We do now a little bit.
I will say, as a Tigers fan, I do take some joy in this, but also as the one on the podcast from our first episode that had the Twins in 4th place, as opposed to the rest of the podcast that was very high on them. It's a vindicating start. Now, it's a long season. We've been over this before. We're 5% of the way through. 1/20th of the way through the season. A lot of time for things to turn around, but so far it's been rough on all fronts from the Twins fans' side.
On the other side of the coin, if you're a Yankees fan, I mean, you're obnoxious to start, and you're extra obnoxious a week into the season.
Sorry, Rodrigo.
The fact that your team has done so much hitting that people are interested in the technology of wood you are using to manufacture your baseball bats
Wood.
is absolutely remarkable. The funny thing about this whole torpedo bat dialogue is this is not new technology. I do believe that there's probably a place for this technology to advance as far as when it comes to matching a particular taper or a particular bat shape to a hitter in a more scientific manner. And maybe that's what the Yankees are doing, but I don't expect this level of offense to continue.
I do have a question for everyone in the table. The new bats, is it fair? Is it cheating? Is it somewhere in the middle? How are we feeling about this new technology of wood?
It's not new. They've been using them in the MLB for the last 2, 3, 4 seasons.
They are completely within the rule books. There's nothing illegal about them, nothing nefarious. I think if you can find any sort of advantage that you have, it's no different than, say, sabermetrics. And once you start implementing these new numbers that nobody was looking at before as predictive metrics to figure out if players are really going to be good for a long time, it's the same kind of thing. It's completely within the rules, and if you can take advantage of that, go.
So let me understand this. You are okay with the New York Rich team winning games with new, different kinds of bats than what we're used to.
We sit here on Monday, April the 7th, and my Tigers and Casey Mize just shut down those big bats. So I'm fine with it right now.
I also don't think that this is something, we talk about the Yankees, being one of the wealthier teams within the league. The technology to implement this stuff is not out of the reach of any team. Every single team invests in, taking their pitchers and putting them in under cameras and pitch memory, pitch tracking, and that sort of thing in order to design new pitches within the pitching lab. That technology is available to everybody. They have got pitching machines that are going to duplicate and replicate whatever arm angle, spin, and velocity that the opposing pitcher has within their arsenal for the upcoming, so those batters can get a sense of what they're up against. Everyone has access to this technology. Perhaps the Yankees have gone forward, sought out someone who might have a more scientific approach. I think that's fine. But I think that once that scientific approach is unlocked, tested, and validated, the technology isn't going to be so expensive that it can not be implemented by every single team.
And as we all know, the Yankees are now a team of culture, as they now allow facial hair. So, of course, they will allow adjustments to their bats, because that's the logical next step.
And on that point, Josh, give me your first fan base that's had the worst start to the season.
Worst start to the season? Another apology to the table here.
We all have them on this.
The 1-8 Braves.
Yeah.
Look, this is a team, unlike the Twins, that I think will do better than where they currently stand. But, boy. 1-8 is...
Bad.
It's a rough start. It's the worst start in all of baseball right now. And while I don't expect them to be at a White Sox or Rockies type pace for the whole season... You're a Braves fan, you're not feeling so good. You're like, when is 2026?
I think that the one thing that the Braves fans at least get to dream on is Ronnie's going to come back.
Bingo.
Strider's going to come back.
Less than 2 weeks for Strider.
At least there's that where you can dreamcast a little bit and be, this is not the full version of the team that we're going to get.
Especially because Spencer Schwellenbach has had... let's say a less than ideal start to the season. I think AJ Smith-Shawver has had a less than ideal start to the season. But the part of this team that's been the most disappointing, and we can all agree, is the bats. The bats have been missing. And there have been games where Ozzie hits a home run, Matt Olson hits a home run, Austin Riley hits a home run. And that's kind of it. And so when we look at a 1-8 Braves team, absolutely a terrible start. Not the start you wanted. They've had a crap draw. They were on the road for the Braves, or excuse me, the Dodgers. The Braves are the Braves. They were on the road for the Dodgers, and then they were on the road for the Padres. Two very, very good teams, and they just couldn't get it done. My concern is that you went home, you shut out the Marlins 10-0 in your first game at home, and what happened next game? You got beat. You got beat, and you couldn't hit, and it was really, really unfortunately bad. So I agree. Braves are the number one worst fan base experience to start the season.
I have questions about that statement because, as you said, the Braves can promise that they're gonna get better. One team that I don't believe it's gonna get better, and they're just looking for the season to end and some way make something in another time. It's gonna be the Colorado Rockies. They're in a super strong division. They're already 6 games behind. They're just 1 game above the Braves. They're tied with the White Sox, and it's just not looking good for them. For those two fans that are out there.
Those two fans.
So, yes, I would say the Rockies have the biggest challenge ahead because the White Sox already know that this was going to happen. However, the Rockies are kind of a disappointment.
That's a good point.
If you were a Rockies fan, what were your hopes going into the season, and how is that different right now?
I'm looking for close to 500.
Or at least some sort of excitement with some of your young players. And I know that they're either just about to or just did call up Zach Veen. They've got some really exciting young players in the minors that are going to come up and maybe add a little bit of excitement and turn it around to the fact that their record will be bad, but you show something that your fans are like, all right, well, in the next year or two, this is all coming together. But right now, through the first 9 games, they haven't had any of that.
Yeah, I'd like my team to be an animator of the league, and here it just looks like paperwork for most of the big teams here.
Yeah, I think Tyler brings up an interesting point. I think the Rockies, to me, are where Rockies fans expected them to be. Chris Bryant's still on a massive contract. They don't have a ton of starting pitching depth. Their offense, while it could be good, is fairly shaky. I think we're seeing what we expected to, at least I expected to see this many games into the season. That doesn't mean they can't turn it around, but if I'm a Rockies fan, I agree with you, Rodrigo. I'm a little annoyed because I think this team could be close to 500 if everything hits.
Yeah, and the other problem is in division, they've got a ton of games against the 8-1 Giants, the 9-2 $1 billion Dodgers, the 8-2 Padres, and even the 5-5 Diamondbacks, who aren't off to the greatest start, but as we've all talked about before, can have themselves a very nice year, be a wild card contention. I mean, that's a lot of games that you're going against some really good teams, and you're gonna probably lose most of those. So starting out 2-7, and then you're looking ahead, and you're like, that's a lot more losses that we have in front of us.
Absolutely, and that kind of transitions me into a team that I think has had an incredibly disappointing start, and their fans deserve better, and that's the Cincinnati Reds. They are the first team to lose 3 consecutive 1-0 games since the 1960 Phillies. They were at home for those 3. You're telling me your starting pitching can put up a 1-0 game for 3 9-inning outings and you can't score a run? That's pathetic. If you're on the road, I might understand it, but you're at home. You're in front of your crowd. It's opening week. That's pathetic. And I'm starting to wonder if Tito doesn't have the magic that he once had. When I look at Tito now, I'm almost convinced if you were to go into the dugout and lift up the rubber mask of the Tito face, you'd find a Scooby-Doo villain behind it. Because this is getting... It's not getting ridiculous. It started ridiculous.
I would say, to emphasize your point, the bottom 4 teams for hitting for WRC plus we've got at the bottom of the list Pittsburgh Pirates. One step above them, your Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
One step above them, my Minnesota Twins. And just a little bit above them.
I know who's above them.
The Cincinnati Reds. So, not a lot of offense that has been there. And, that's obviously been disappointing. One team that I think has really enjoyed their start to the season because I feel like they have gone to a place where they've reclaimed their rightful throne has been the Texas Rangers. And it's not necessarily just because they're at the top of the division right now early on in the season. It's because of how they've done it, which has been pitching. The fact that Nathan Eovaldi and Jack Leiter have come forward and shoved has been really, really exciting. Their bats have not yet woken up, but that would be the part of that team that I would feel the most confident in being consistent and contributing to a winning culture. So the fact that you've got some pitchers that are now showing up, you've got the recipe for a playoff team.
And I would actually compound that because what you're saying is the bats haven't woken up, but the pitching has been substantial. And who did those Cincinnati Reds lose 3 straight games, 1-0 to? It's those Texas Rangers. So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and I'll say Nathan Eovaldi, we all knew he was going to be good. He's been good for the last few years. He looks like he might be one of the front runners for the Cy Young early on. It's early, of course. We can all acknowledge that. But, I mean, his stuff, the way that he's just looking so far, I mean, he could be one of your front runners for the Cy Young. And like you said, those bats come alive. You got a Cy Young caliber ace. That's going to be a scary team.
Hey, and why not give Rookie of the Year Jack Leiter?
I do believe that the Cincinnati Reds need to have a little bit more faith in them. Also, their fan base. Things are going to get better. I believe they do have problems with the pitching rotation, I believe. I don't think they're going to get far, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get better. So I would recommend to have patience. Maybe get some WD-40, loosen up everything, and then, get the machine going.
Big red machine. I like it. My other surprisingly good start to the season is the Angels. And the reason it's not just the record. They're 6-3, which for the Angels, let's say they're 66% winning right now. That's not usual for them. The thing that surprises me is who they've taken series from. They took a series from the Cardinals and they took a series from the Guardians. 2 pretty decent rotations, 2 pretty decent offenses. The Guardians a little bit less so than the Cardinals, but that's an impressive homestand. I understand they didn't win, right? They didn't win the series against the White Sox. They lost 2.
No,
To start, did they win 2? Okay. Well, I won't count that as a win of a series because it's the White Sox. But taking a series, that means 3 series to start the year that they've won, and they beat the Guardians and they beat the Cardinals. Those are 2 impressive series wins. That to me, if Mike Trout stays healthy and the pitching staff goes the distance like we think they can, they might be a surprising team.
I was just going to say, too, speaking of Mike Trout, turns out that guy can still hit the crap out of a baseball.
Yeah, he can.
I think every baseball fan is all rooting for the same thing, and that is a healthy year out of Mike Trout. We haven't seen that in a few years, but boy, can that guy still hit. And it's nice to see him starting off relatively strong, and hopefully that gets to keep up.
One thing I would say is a lot of your feelings about your fan base has a lot to do with who else is in your division. Mm-hmm. And one thing that you might be excited about in the AL West is the Astros don't look like they're the force that they were in previous seasons.
Unless they're playing the Twins on a Sunday.
Unless they're playing the Twins on a Sunday. And
like I said, the Tigers ended that dynasty.
So, if you're in the AL West right now, you're the Rangers, you're the Angels. Maybe you feel like the road isn't as uphill as it was in previous seasons.
One thing that I have to add to all these is that you have to keep in mind the numbers, right? And one thing that I'm concerned about the Angels is that the run differential is -1, meaning they have.
That's a good point.
They have been winning games, but overall the whole division is really weak because even the first place, it's -1.
That was the point that I was just about to make. The AL West is the only division in baseball without a single team with a positive run differential. I mean, the Rangers are -1. It's just barely under, but everybody's a minus run.
That is a
minus
crazy statistic.
Right now, those type of stats I really couldn't care about. So early on into the season, I think that there is going to be some amount of sorting out that needs to be before you can say, it's this way or it's that way. I think right now we've got something like 40 players that are batting above 300. We've got a long way to go before you can feel definitive one way or another when you're looking at statistics. But when you're looking at individual performances and things that have happened, you're not going to feel good if you're the Twins. You're not going to feel good if you're the Braves.
And that's why I don't think that today is the right time to talk about like NL and AL players of the week. Because we're so early in the season and people are having such incredible starts that they're going to fall off. Like baseball is a game of averages, and everybody who listens to this show knows that. And also the reason I don't want to bring it up is because Alex Bregman was the AL player of the week, and I don't want to make Josh cry. So I'm not...
it's hard to cry from first place, so...
That's fair. And I'm not here to crap on the Tigers or who they did or didn't sign. But we know baseball's a game of averages. It's swings at the plate, it's opportunities in the field. So I don't think now's the time to really do that. Like when we get closer to June or July, maybe we do that and see exactly where it lands, but not right now.
Well, forget Bregman. His teammate, somebody that we trashed hardcore last week, 0 for 16 with 14 strikeouts or whatever, Rafael Devers. He refound his swing in the last several days, and he's mashing the ball again all of a sudden. We've got the Blue Jays Red Sox game on right now in the background. I saw him hit another one that was hit really well.
Yep.
He went from looking like his career might be over by mid-June to he's right back at it. So that's just goes to show you early on. It's hard.
And I think the Red Sox are another team that right now is feeling themselves. Because you're right there, like the Yankees got off to a hot start. Right now you've got a division lead, and you're looking at the rest of the season. You're saying Yankees v. Red Sox, this rivalry is back on. Let's ride this. It's going to be an exciting season.
And I know everybody on this show and anybody who, listens to this show is going to agree that if we've got Yankees Red Sox back, how fun will be the rest of the season. That is something we haven't had in 10 years, 12 years.
Don't let ESPN hear that, because then that will be the only thing we'll hear about for 4 months.
ESPN sponsored the podcast. Rodrigo, any final thoughts on best or worst fan base starts?
I would say that everyone that has not been mentioned in this topic should rest at ease, meaning, we're still getting to know how things are going to go through the season. With 30 teams, it's hard to catch on who's average. So if you're average at this point of the season, you're good. If you're extraordinary, be careful, because the fall from the top hurts more, right? So other than that, I would just say that it's really early in the season. As I said, Atlanta might, take off. Cincinnati is going to take off. There are other teams that are having more rockier ways, right? So, just be patient and see where it goes.
And we'll see if the Braves can become the first team to start 0-7 to make the playoffs. I'm not feeling great. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And I don't know how the rest of the show feels, but we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. We've got a lot of games left, and we'll see what Josh has to say now.
Yeah, and I'll wrap up my part of it. I'm probably one of 2 people on the show, the one that's on assignment and me, that feel good about our teams right now. Tigers fans, it's fun right now. The gritty Tigers, they're just like last year. They're winning games. They're putting together hits late. 0-3 to start at the Dodgers with a game that we kind of got robbed from. 6-1 since then. I mean, I know the White Sox sweep is the White Sox, but 2-1 against the Mariners rotation, and then coming out today and beating up the Yankees, to be honest. Taking a bunch of walks. This looks like a fun team. And then one more team I wanted to give a real quick shout out to for a good fan base start. The Marlins. I know that nobody from the Marlins fan base is going to expect them to finish the year anywhere in competition. They're a game above 500 right now, which is exciting. Started the year with 3 straight walk-offs. So nobody's feeling like they're going to be good this year. They've given that fan base some excitement to start the year, and there's something to be said about that, especially when you're expecting the seller.
All right, so the next topic we're going to move into is a fun one. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, we do not want to be a show that just reads the stats, reads the standings to you. So Tyler had a really interesting idea aside from best and worst fan bases starts to the season. And so I'm going to kick it over to him, let him tell you a little bit about it, and then we'll dive right into it.
I just love the whole ballpark experience, like everything about it. One of the fun things that happens at the beginning of every season is the Twins PR director, Dustin Morse. He will send out, like, through a press release, it's nothing fancy, it's just an Excel spreadsheet, of all the players' walk-up songs for the upcoming season and where they start from a timestamp within that song. So you can go through and you can say, like, oh, like, who's going with the same thing, who's switched it up, I was amazed to see that Byron Buxton had shed Return of the Mac, which he had used for forever and ever and ever, and is now going with a Bob Marley song for his new walk-up song. So that was interesting to me. Now that got me thinking, walk-up songs. Number one, what makes a good one? What team, front to back, has just good walk-up songs? And also, like, any walk-up song curiosities that we came across as we were investigating them.
So when Tyler proposed this to us, I'm very stupid. So I apologize for that in advance. I misunderstood the assignment. I understood it as taking the advanced metrics of teams putting out their walk-up songs for each individual player and us choosing what our individual walk-up songs would be. And so I did that, but at the same time I picked out 3 individual walk-up songs from 3 random teams that I think are really fun. And I get that I did not follow the assignment, and I apologize.
That's fine.
But
I'm just excited to talk about walk-up
songs. And that's why this is Tyler's segment, and we're going to let him run with it, and we'll just react and pitch in where we can.
So first
I
of
have
all,
a couple fun ones too.
First of all, what I would say is Joe Mauer, for the whole of his career, had the same walk-up song. What You Know, T.I. I did not like that song. It's a little too mellow. It's a little too, hey, like, let's throw this on in the background. We'll have a chill house party type of vibe. I come to find out Joe Mauer is not the only person who's using that walk-up song. Still to this day, we have got Austin Riley using that song. We've got Mike Trout.
That's why I leaned into the mic for a hot second.
We've got Mike Trout using that walk-up song. So, my advice to Mike Trout, Hall of Fame baseball player, do better.
And I would also like to point out, we do not own the rights to any of this music. So if you hear a name you like, go search it on your own. Because we will not play it.
Go search it out. So I went through all of the team's walk-up songs. So there's a website. It's not exactly comprehensive. It's called walkupdb.com. And then the MLB also has something where you can put in MLB.com/ your team name, like Twins /ballpark /music, and you can find what walk-up songs exist for your team right now if this is something that tickles your brain as much as it tickles mine. So between those 2 databases, I was able to go through and analyze absolutely everything that I wanted to know about walk-up songs. So a couple of fun facts. I was surprised at how much Rush is being used by players generally.
Shout out Canada.
Yeah, shout out Canada.
Well, and also that kind of brings up a fun thing when we were in Kansas City at the Negro League Baseball Museum.
Very
and
true.
Geddy Lee had a huge collection of baseballs that he had donated that were autographed to the museum.
Yep.
So Rush, big baseball fans. So it's kind of nice to see the players recognizing them back.
And that should point to the idea that Montreal deserves a team again. I know we have Toronto, but Montreal deserves the Expos back. So that's all I'll say about that.
And
I vote for Tampa Bay to go there.
I vote no.
so my favorite walk-up song, fun fact, is about the pitcher Michael King, who
I actually like this one a lot.
Yes, and so found this article. It was written by Max Goodman way back in September of 2020, and his sister wrote and recorded him a song.
Yep.
As I was listening to the song, I was like, man, he did a good job picking this song. The song is entirely about pitching. Come to find out, no, that's not necessarily an accident. That's not at all an accident. It's 100% his sister wrote him a song, and it's a delight. So
really
I would recommend that you check that out because it's all about getting up on the mound and spinning that baseball.
And what's the name?
The name of the song is Messin' with the King.
That's right, it is.
That is the equivalent of a tailor-made shirt, right?
Yes,
When
it
you go to work,
is.
It is the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there are a lot of players that have played around, and obviously Michael King just aced the assignment. Like he took it to the next level, or rather his sister did. But there are other players that are messing around with it a little bit. So Louis Guillaume, he has Brother Louis as his walk-up song, as in Louis, 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 Louis.
I like it.
That song.
I like it.
Johnny DeLuca comes up to Johnny Be Good.
That was on my list.
Yes.
That was on my list.
Oh, yeah, and another one that I like a lot, Xander Bogaerts, X Gonna Give It To Ya. Xander, starting with the letter X,
Yep.
which is perfect. And then Tyler Rogers, relief pitcher for the Giants, one of his two songs is Yellow Submarine, which I found appropriate considering he's got a funky submarine style pitching release. He comes from down under. So the Yellow Submarine for Tyler Rogers and X Gonna Give It To You were the two ones that I like.
Speaking of down under, Curtis Mead, notable Australian baseball player, comes out to Men at Work's Down Under.
Yeah,
just to let people know, I am an Aussie. Recognize me.
Can't mistake it.
I'm a big fan of one of the songs for Nico Horner. And it's a personal connection for me. I'm a big Mac Miller guy. I know Josh also is a big hip hop guy. I don't know how you feel about Mac Miller, but Blue World by Mac Miller.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Mac Miller, good. I love that in Nico Horner's walk-up. And for me, when I look at other walk-up songs, so we'll get to this in a second, but we've also thought about what our own walk-up songs would be. I assume. I know that I did. I don't know if everybody else did. I'm getting a lot of head nods. Backwards words. This is our third podcast. Don't judge. So when I look at things that I like, I am a big punk fan. I'm a big pop punk fan. I'm a big new metal fan. Big metal fan.
Hell yeah.
That's right. So when I look at some of these walk-up songs, those are the things that stick out to me. They're the things that I resonate with. So when I look at people like Mitch Garver with Dear Maria, Count Me In, like how cool is that to have a Major League Baseball player who likes the same music as you, wants to walk out to it, and you're like, man, I want to be that.
And on that note, one that I absolutely loved, Daniel Lynch IV.
Great name.
Yes. A History of Bad Men by the Melvins. I was
Yes.
not expecting
Yes.
to see the Melvins on anybody's list.
Yep.
So that one lit my eyes up immediately. I'm
I
like,
like
the
that.
Melvins, let's go.
I will say I feel like pop punk is, if you want to draw from a genre for a walk-up song, it's a good place to draw from. And I feel it's generally underrepresented at the MLB right now.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, the walk-up song, it's something that you really need to think about, because you might strike out.
Okay. I see what you did there.
That is something that
Yeah.
you really need to think about, because we were talking about Bogart, right?
Mhm.
What if he didn't give it to me? Have you thought about it? Like you're like that is there is a fine line when you're too cocky, right?
Right.
And when you're confident enough.
So you got to come out to that. You better be hitting at least 280 with 20 bombs.
That's why I like, I don't know, Humble by Kendrick Lamar. I don't remember exactly who's using it. I think it's Aaron Judge or someone like
I
that.
think so. That sounds right.
Makes sense,
Yeah.
right? So that is my main concern about walk-up songs.
So I completely respect that position. If you personally, Rodrigo, were in the major leagues, what would your walk-up song be?
So definitely I will go with quizás, 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 which means maybe, 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 because it's humble. You never know what you're going to do on your first MLB game, so maybe.
Swing hard in case you hit the ball, right?
Exactly. So, you know, you never know. That will be my go-to.
Because
like
you
it.
don't want to be left asking, what if he doesn't give it to you?
Exactly. Exactly. You don't want to put yourself in that position.
It's so stupid.
All right, I'll go next. So mine has a little bit of nostalgia to it, back to my days of being a season ticket holder for the Lions. As we all know here, I am a diehard Detroiter.
What?
What? Exactly. So, at least to start, like Rodrigo, I would probably change it up a bit, whatever gets me hype and going. But to start, a little ode to the early days, to going to the Lions games, to feeling that connection with Detroit. Detroit Rock City by Kiss. It's got a good guitar intro, gets me hyped, a little nod to the city.
Likewise, I think in my fantasy, where I am playing professional baseball, I am playing for the Minnesota Twins. Therefore, I am drawing from both Minnesota and pop punk. My walk-up song is by Dillinger Ford.
Hell yeah, brother.
And it is Get Your Study Hall Out of My Recess.
I like it. I like it. I wondered with those two connections if that would be what you'd choose. And I'm so glad that I was right. I could have hit that nail right on the head. For me, I am not so much city connected as I am sound connected. So if I'm looking at a walk-up song, I want to be hyped. I want to be energized. But I also want to be true to what the music genre is that's important to me. So when I think about walk-up songs, I think about punk, I think about pop punk, I think about nu metal, I think about metal. And when I think of all of those things boiled down to one individual amazing song, to me it's clear. It's Coming Undone by Korn, the fathers of nu metal. That if you haven't listened to Coming Undone by Korn, I encourage anybody listening to this episode, go listen to it and tell me you don't want to run through a brick wall.
I must say, I feel like that would be the perfect walk-up song as a pinch hitter. As you're coming in, the pitching staff is on the ropes, and now they are coming undone
I like
because
it.
you are up.
I like it.
I don't want this section to end without adding that the best ever walk-up song that has ever existed in MLB was Mariano Rivera, Metallica, Enter Sandman, played by Metallica on his last game.
And that's one point that I would make. I think that as important it is to have a good walk-up song as a batter, I feel like the place where the walk-up song gets the most crowd pump going is that closer walk-up song. Mm-hmm. And
only for a night game. In a day game, it does not have the same effect.
No, it
Just
doesn't.
like we were at the Twins game yesterday, and we talked about this with Duran coming in the 8th inning, and they've got the flames and they've got the lights, and it just doesn't have the same
You've
effect.
got the 2-run homers.
That was after he came in.
Right. But the other thing that I'll say about my beloved Twins is Duran's song and video montage is really second to how good Griffin Jax's is. Because he also uses X Gonna Give It To You. Because his name ends in an X. And they've got an excellent montage with a whole bunch of like punk X's going over eyes.
I also believe that walk-up songs, as long as everything that has to deal with the ballpark experience, should be differentiated between a week game and a weekend game because of the timeline, the environment that you feel, right? I do believe that the weekday games are season games, while the classic Sunday game should be more fan oriented because that's when you bring the kids, that's when you build the memories.
I disagree a little bit. I think on your Thursday day game, you need to get the 8 people that are there going more than any other game. The big crowds, they're going to get into it no matter what. You need something to get those 1,800, kids and their dads that are skipping school and work getting pumped.
I think there's no good answer to what makes a good walk-up song. But Tyler, I'm curious because this was your topic. What does make a good walk-up song?
Okay, so there are a lot of things that make a good walk-up song, but I think the first thing that you need to figure out is what causes a walk-up song to really go off the rails. So the first thing that I would say is Travis Scott and Drake get a ton of play as walk-up songs, but they're both, I don't know what I would say. They're the emo version of rap music.
It's beat fetishism. That's what it is.
They rap as though they're in their feelings, and it is great if you just want to hang out with your buds or you want to go on a road trip, but it's not going to get the crowd pumped. You cannot pick something that's got good move, good vibe. You can't put it on your special sexy time playlist and have it be your walk-up song. You cannot just simply select your favorite song. If you are going to choose a Christian song, do not have it be hymn-centric, is what I will say.
That's fair.
Unless you're Gio Urshela, in which case he had a song called Where I Belong for years and years as his walk-up song. That was not a good song, but the crowd sang along with it because of how potent it was. And I believe it was Take Me in This World, Jesus. It was great.
I think that music composition goes a lot into walk-up songs where, yeah, not everybody is a music composer. Not everyone's a producer. Not everybody can identify what sounds good and what sounds bad. It's about tone. It's about beat. It's about it's almost
It's
like
about
a
face melting guitar as you walk up.
I was
to
gonna
the
say
plate.
it's almost about the feeling that it invokes, and if you can't identify a song and at least a portion of that song to really identify with your fan base, then it's not gonna go well. And that's probably the hardest part of picking a good and true walk-up song.
But I also believe that the walk-up song is something that has to relate with the player, because I don't know, a lot of Latino players, right? They use reggaeton music for their walk-up songs, and me as a Latino, that also gets me going though.
Hey, reggaeton, 100%. Go with reggaeton.
It goes right.
What-
It feels correct whenever you have those Dominican power
But
bats.
if you're a Latin player, I am begging you, avoid norteño and accordions. Anytime you've got a song with accordions, it's probably not the best walk-up song.
It is not the best. I agree with you because it I don't want to be reminded of my uncle's house. 3 a.m. Right? Because we all know that
What's
right?
your uncle's name?
Mi tío?
Yeah.
My uncle, Roberto.
Oh, avoid Uncle.
Clemente.
Yeah, you go. Avoid Uncle Roberto.
But yeah, and that also leads to the fact that the 3 white dudes here are the ones that were clamoring for the pop punk. So it is definitely a combination of what gets you going, but also adding a flair of that personal touch to it. So there's a difference between us choosing pop punk and you choosing some kind of Latino music.
Well, the
that's
thing
got
is-
that kind of vibe to it.
Gasolina will never not be a good...
Okay,
It never gets old, right?
Yeah, it's never not a good reliever, like, walk-up song.
I mean, yes.
But I think that's a portion of walk-up songs that really shouldn't be ignored. if it is your culture and it's something that's important to you as a person, let it live and let it fly. Because if you have that in your background, if you have that in your culture, that should be what comes through.
And I think now is the appropriate time to go from music to something else that everybody else loves, money.
Yeah.
So Ben has this great chart over here.
All right. So the thing I want to talk about with this list is, so this list shows 2024 revenue comparatively to the 2025 payroll and luxury tax commitments for every Major League Baseball team. And it drives me insane. So when we look at the top of the list, the New York Mets are number one with a bullet. $444 million in 2024 revenue versus $400 million in 2025 payroll and luxury tax incentives. That's 90% of what they made last year they're paying out in payroll and luxury taxes. Dodgers are second at $752 million in revenue versus $549 million in payroll and taxes at 73%. So we saw a 17% drop in payroll revenue from 2024 versus the number one team, that's the Mets, and the number two team, which is the Dodgers. Now I want to compare that to the bottom of this list. Let's go all the way to the bottom. Number 30, the Miami Marlins. $317 million in revenue in 2024 versus $86 million in payroll and luxury taxes in 2025. 27%. We're talking about a 63% drop from number 1 to number 30. And you want to talk about how major league teams can't afford to put a winner on the field. Let's go to the middle of this list. Number 15, right in the middle, Tyler's Minnesota Twins. $324 million in revenue in 2024. What's their luxury and payroll tax in 2025, Tyler?
It is $154 million in payroll, and none of that is luxury tax because they're not over that tax threshold.
Bingo. And what does that equate to percentage-wise?
That would be 47.4%.
What does that other 52.6% go to?
Well, that would just be basic, overhead.
That's some expensive executives.
No, I mean, out of that, that's revenue that you got to do everything. So that is going to pay for your entire front office. That's paying for your entire facility rental. That's going to be paying for all of your cost of goods for your merchandise, all of your giveaways, all your promotions, anything like that. That is going to be, when we're looking at this list, we're looking at pretty much everyone in the middle is around about 40 to 50%. And so it seems like that's, when I look at the top, the New York Mets, that is just Steve Cohen willing to lose money running his team every single year to try to make the best team that he possibly can because he is a true fan.
And the argument that I would make is when we look at number 25 on this list and also number 26. Rodrigo, who's 25 on this list?
You have the Cleveland Guardians.
Okay, so we got Cleveland, and the revenue in 2024 is $336 million. In 2025, they have $132 million guaranteed in payroll. 39.4%. And let's look at one spot lower. This is media market number 3 in this country. The Chicago Cubs, $584 million in revenue last year. And this year, they've committed $213 million in payroll and taxes. That's a 36.4 revenue to payroll percentage. That's pathetic.
I'm also looking at this chart, and to Tyler's point, this is just their roster, payroll, and tax. So you add on everything else. Let's go mega aggressive and say $100 million for everything else that you do. I feel like that's a super aggressive number outside of player payroll.
gas prices, though.
That leaves the Mets as the only team on this entire list that would be in the negative if you gave $100 million in operating expenses outside of the payroll, and that's all the way down to Miami.
So when I look at this list, the things that pop out to me as being questionable are, I think in my mind, there are really like 4 MLB teams that are ubiquitous and internationally driven brands. You've got the Dodgers, you've got the Yankees, you've got the Red Sox, and you've got the Cubs. The Yankees and the Red Sox and the Cubs, they are spending... The Yankees are highest at 49.7%. That puts them in the mass of everyone who is around that percentage. But Boston is at 42%. The Cubs are at 36.4%. The Cubs have so much... Their fans are so ridiculously loyal. Wrigley Field has no problem selling tickets because of the whole vibe that you get when you go to Wrigleyville.
Neither does Fenway.
And neither does Fenway for the exact same reason. People want to support that team. People are going to show up no matter what. And the fact that you are not going to at least become a league average spender, and I'm talking about 50%. You're not going to even spend 50% of your revenue on payroll in order to try to put a winning product on the field is a little offensive to me.
Just answer me this. Is Chicago a small market?
No, not at all.
According to this chart, the Cubs are 26th and the White Sox are 29. So that screams poor to me, right?
No, I don't think that's correct.
Wait a second.
To the team, is Boston a small market?
No, sir.
No. In fact, they have the 4th highest revenue in all of baseball.
I put this to you. Is Atlanta a small market?
They come in at number 6 on the revenue and 17 in your percentage.
And that's what I would be pissed off if I were a Red Sox fan, if I were a Cubs fan, if I'm a Brewers fan. When I've got a winning team that made the playoffs last year, and the Brewers this year are looking at a 40.8 revenue to payroll percentage. That's pathetic.
And this is one where, as a Tigers fan, we complain a lot about not spending enough money. And I am never going to be one who's going to be on the side of these billionaire owners not spending money. But our situation isn't as grim as we typically feel like it is right now. We are number 12 in all of baseball at 49.3. We're almost at that 50% marker with the 25th most revenue and the 29th highest payroll, or 19th highest payroll, sorry. So our payroll in general is better than our revenue.
I mean, for me, this chart only means that money cannot buy everything in baseball, because you have very strong markets, right? Like Boston, like Atlanta, like Chicago, that are lower in this table. And you have a team like Arizona, top 5, which doesn't really mean that money is everything. I think that when you're spending money, you don't need to spend it just to get anything, but to get something you really want.
And on a side note, the opposite direction, as a secondary Rays fan, looking at this, what is the narrative with the Rays always?
Small market team.
Oh, and they do so good with what they have. They just they don't have that much to work with, and they do great with what they have. Guess what? They're 28th in their payroll to revenue. 28th. That means they could do so much more, and they just cry poor.
The thing that is always offensive to me when it comes to professional sports team ownership is there are only 30 professional baseball teams. It is a rare commodity. It's something that goes up in value absolutely every single year. The fact that every single team needs to run a profit every single year is ridiculous when you're talking about billionaires, because these things should be viewed in the same way that a billionaire views a yacht. It is a luxury. Your yacht does not make money every year. Yacht is not something that turns a profit every year. It is something that you can use to flex on everyone else in the town. It's going to be something that you can use to be grandiose. It's going to open up other business deals for you in your other avenues of making money, whatever gave you enough money to be able to afford the baseball team in the first place. So there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to go out and at least spend 52% of revenue in order to try to field a competitive product every single year.
And that's where I think we come to a halt, because we have the Cubs at 26th and the team we have at 6th is a small market club, the San Diego Padres.
But I do have a question for you. Will more money spent will make the players better?
No, but it can get you better players. Instead of sitting on your hands and not investing in your product and saying, oh, we didn't have the money to do so. Yes, you did. You had the money to go and make your team better. Now, sure, all the time that doesn't pan out into wins, but you can't use it as an excuse not to try.
But then that money is being spent on only payroll. It's also kind of a mirror in which you don't really know how much they are investing in other things that are not payroll, meaning training facilities, the sports science department, everything that they do spend. What I'm trying to say here is that payroll is not the absolute metric we should look for.
But these owners also have revenue sources outside of baseball, too, that we don't know.
And the other thing that I would say is what you are doing when you go off and you spend money, like if you extend a player, when you make sure that you're trying to field a rewarding team, is you're communicating to your fan base that you care about the outcome of the team. And I think the problem that we've got with ownership is when you're trying to run with it like a business, and you're not necessarily running it like something that is part of the lifeblood of a city or a state, is you're failing to understand that people really do want to get excited about these things. And when you fail to spend, you're putting an impediment between someone's fandom and your product.
And I think that's the most stark understanding of the Castellini group that owns the Reds. Because at the beginning of 2024, what did Phil Castellini come out and say? Where are you going to go? You know you've got these people for life. You know these are your fans for life. And you feel like that means you can be a cheapskate. And that is a disservice to your ownership group, to your fan base, and to the team.
I also have this question, and it's a legit question. I will never take the side of a billionaire. I'm taking the question about a team. Is a sports team, not meant to be a business by itself? These teams should be profitable by themselves.
And they are.
Because let's go back in the day when they were supposed to, that was our business. It was not a hobby entrepreneurship adventure that we're going to hop in. And my question becomes basically, how much should we invest in payroll versus how much should we invest in our little league development versus how much we should spend on fan experience versus how much are we actually making?
All good points. Tyler, last point on this before we move on to the end of the episode.
Well, the one thing that I would say is that, yes, like a sports team should be able to turn a profit. But when sports teams were first founded, in order to turn a profit, you had to put butts in seats. And so now that everything has become decoupled between I can turn a profit without having to get the local people to be interested in the game that's being played locally in the field, I think that's the problem right there.
It's a big part of it. And I appreciate you guys giving me 30 seconds to complain about billionaires and how they treat their fans. I know it went longer than 30 seconds, and that's, I'm sure, will come up.
There's never enough time to complain about
I was
how
gonna say,
billionaires don't spend their money.
Yeah, and there'll be plenty of other opportunities for us to talk about this throughout the season, because another billionaire will say something stupid or do something stupid. So I appreciate it nonetheless. All right, let's move on to Ballpark Brews. And because this is Josh's pick, selection, and beer this week, I'm going to turn it over to him.
All right. So, sticking with what you all know about me so far, going with the Michigan brand.
What?
Surprise, surprise. So today we've got this incredible seasonal beer that brings you to the spring and summer. It is the ultimate ballpark brew. Also great for sitting out on the lake, one of the Great Lakes of Michigan, specifically Lake Michigan, because Bell's Brewery is out there in Comstock on the west side of the state. So we are going to do the Oberon by Bell's.
Couldn't count down and also open my beer at the same time.
And, I can start off the rankings as it is my beer that I brought to the table. In Oberon is always a home run. Now, the real question is how many runners are on base with this home run, because every time it's great, but especially in a ballpark, this thing's a 3-run home run, a grand slam. It is the perfect crushable beer in the seats. It just brings the summer vibe. Love a good Oberon.
I've always loved Oberon just because I don't know if it's accurate, but someone once told me that Oberon matches its release to the start of the baseball season. And so in that way, it is one of the perfect baseball beers. Right now, I'm going to give it a triple. But if we were in the stands and it was 80 degrees outside, it's an absolute home run.
I kind of disagree though, because it's a heavy beer in the belly. So I would say that this is a dangerous beer because
in the what now?
in the belly, right?
I really enjoyed how you said that.
In the stomach. However, I do agree it's a great beer. You need to drink it cold. However, my concern is that if you drink too many, you're gonna be too heavy. So I would say that this is an important single. It's not just a single, but a clutch single.
Drives in the run.
To me, I agree. It's a crushable beer. It is an enjoyable beer. It's a beer that, when served ice cold on a hot day, it's tough to be rivaled. And so when I think about Oberon specifically, I think about somebody in the Central hitting something to the left center wall in Houston over Jose Altuve and getting to third base, probably clearing the bases. So I'm going with a triple that probably has pretty serious implications.
And you know what? The triple is actually perfect for this because Comerica Park, as anybody who's a Tigers fan knows, has a famously large right center gap and is one of the best triples parks in baseball. So I just see the Trey Sweeney hitting the gap into right center field, the drive-in two, standing up at third.
And I don't think a triple is overstated. I think a triple is an incredibly, to me,
some would argue it's harder than a home run.
I was about to say the same thing. I almost feel like it's more exciting than a home run because you see them so far less than a home run. And they're just so exciting for those in the crowd. And so for me personally, I call this a triple off the left center wall that kicks over somebody's glove, that scores 2 to 3 runs, and it's a blast.
A great combo of power and speed.
Definitely a great beer.
Absolutely.
All right, so with that, finishing up the Ballpark Brews, we move to Ben's trivia session to wrap us up.
Yes, sir. I don't know if anybody enjoys trivia, but we're going to keep doing it. All right, so we did this in this fashion last time. We went around and guessed based on what the question was. Do we want to do that again, or do you want me to do one by one?
One by one. Let's go back one by one.
All right, I'm going to start with Tyler. This is a true or false. You got a 50% chance of this being right.
Which also means 50% chance of it being wrong.
True story. If a player stole 60 bases for 20 straight years, would they have more stolen bases than Ricky Henderson?
No.
They would not. They would not. That's an incredible stat. 60 bases for 20 straight years. He has how many?
1,406.
1,402.
No, 6.
I looked it up today.
Oh, I know that stat by heart. I know this stat by heart, man.
Shout out to all our
1406.
listeners. I did look it up today, and if I'm mistaken, a 2 for a 6, I apologize.
1,406. Please sponsor us.
I'm pretty sure. Get the number, please sponsor us. All right, Yeshua, we're not fact checking in real time. We're not doing that. I may be wrong. I said in episode 1 we're dumb. So just everybody relax. Put the phone down. All right, clearly it was 1406, and Josh doesn't want to say it online because he thinks it's going to embarrass me, but I've said that I'm stupid many times.
I just want to put in note that I know my numbers.
Question number 2.
Question number 2. Ronald Acuna Jr.
Not hitting 400.
No, he hasn't hit anything yet. He had a 30-30 season in 2019. Who is the only other Braves player with 2 30-30 seasons?
I'm going to go with Anderson.
No. Ron Gant.
Gant.
90 and 91.
Wow.
Rodrigo's still laughing about my idiocy on question 1. All right, Rodrigo, you ready?
Yes.
How many stitches does an official Major League Baseball have?
68?
Think about that for a minute. Josh is trying to count.
But that is not an official bowl.
Is it 152?
It is not. It's north of that. Our producer, my wife, has also decided to enter her guess, and she's also wrong. It's north of that also.
224.
You're very close. 216.
216. I already knew I was testing you.
As we have established, he is not good at numbers.
Shout out to the listeners of this podcast. I am very bad with math, in case anyone was unaware. Yeah, I am. It's okay.
You were doing the numbers of the
Stitches.
no, the percentages and all like. The
Well, it was in front of me. It was in front
He
of
didn't
me.
come up with that.
I didn't.
He was reading a graph.
He's bad with numbers. He's still literate.
Yeah, he math like a champion
He
though.
can read.
No, you were doing math.
No, it's on the graph. I promise you. I didn't do that math in my head.
I am so disappointed right now.
I shout out to everybody that thought I was doing that math. I was not.
Math, please sponsor us.
Math, please
Back
sponsor
to
us.
Tyler for trivia. Maybe we have questions left in the
Jeez,
tank.
holy hell. I have 2 questions left. Tyler, what is the only team left in Major League Baseball to not appear in the World Series?
The Mariners.
Bingo. Great job, Tyler.
Despite winning 116 games in 2001.
Was that King Felix?
No,
No,
that
he
was
wasn't
well
there
before.
yet. He wasn't there yet.
A-Rod, Edgar Martinez.
Griffey's
I
still
think Randy
there.
Johnson was still
Griffey's
there.
still
Yeah,
there?
Griffey
Yeah.
was still there. I
Yeah.
think Randy Johnson.
Again, stupid. Ben, stupid. All right.
Hey, you
I-
know Griffey.
I did. Smoothest swing in baseball. So the next question, this is the last question. It has 4 answers. So I want to go around the horn. Whoever can
Baseball
come.
term.
Yes. Bingo. We'll try to get as many answers as we can. I'll give you the explanation if we get it wrong.
As many as we can, or 4? Because
Well,
there's a cap.
there's.
No, I'm just kidding.
You're
Okay,
not going to get 4. All right, Rod. No, Josh. We're starting with you. How many names have the Cincinnati Reds had, and what are they?
So I know the Red Stockings,
That's 1.
which means I can pass to Rodrigo now. I got my one.
Yeah, you got your 1. That was the first one, by the way, from
Yes.
1869 to 1881. They were the Red
The
Stockings.
OG Red Stockings.
Originals.
Could you give me any kind of hint?
They are currently called this.
Thank you so much for this helpful guidance.
The Cincinnati Reds have had how many names?
The Reds,
And what are...
of
There
course.
you go!
I already did it.
Los Rojas. Las Rojas.
Rojos.
1959 to the present, they've been the Cincinnati Reds. We have 2 left. Tyler, you're up.
Were they the Red Birds?
They were not the Redbirds.
Okay, I'm out.
Joshua.
I also don't have an answer off the top of my head for the other 2.
Rodrigo.
I have no idea.
Were they the Red Legs?
Oh, the Red Legs.
They
yeah.
were the Red Legs from 1953 to 1959. Do you know why they were changed from their previous name to the Red Legs?
The Red Scare?
Bingo! Good for you, Tyler. So 1953 to 1959, they changed their name from their previous name to the Red Legs to avoid association with communism. We have 1 left. Who wants to take a stab at it?
I know it's not the Red Barons.
It is not the Red Barons.
Is it city based or is it
It is.
okay?
And it is something that's already been guessed.
I don't know. I got nothing.
So from 1869 to 1881, the team was initially known as the Cincinnati Red Stockings. In 1881, their team name was changed to the Cincinnati Reds. However, in 1953, they changed their name to the Red Legs to avoid the scare of communism. And then they changed it back to the Reds in 1959.
Trick question. I want a new one.
Trick question.
You got us.
Trick question. Fun question, though.
Trick question. Fun question.
Yeah, exactly.
Trick question.
Cheers to him. All right, that's the end of episode 3, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Rodrigo, Josh, Tyler, any last thoughts before we sign off?
Nothing. I just want to thank everyone who gave us their time. We really are having fun doing this. As you said on the very first episode, we're just friends talking about the sport we love. So yeah, just share with whoever you might think it's an interesting content, and any feedback is welcomed. So yeah, thank you for giving us your time.
Josh?
Yeah, just thank you everybody for listening, and hopefully our quality didn't suffer too much without our man on assignment, Mr. Nels.
Poor Nels.
Enjoy the next week of baseball, everybody.
Absolutely. Play the game, love the game. Thank you guys so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 3. Really quickly, I do have an apology to make to Nels. He is out on assignment, but he did send me his notes for episode 3, and I unfortunately forgot to read them. So I want to make sure he gets his notes in there. For Nels, the fan bases with the best starts have been the Giants. Obviously, a big time for him, with the Giants being one of the best teams in baseball right now. He's out on assignment, like I said, but he can confirm the vibes are immaculate. He's really high on the Cubs. They're holding their own versus top teams. He thinks Kyle Tucker's having a monster start, and I agree with that. And he likes the way the Blue Jays have started. We didn't even get into it really on the episode, but signing Vladdy to an extension for 14 years and $500 million goes a long way. The fan bases that he thinks are having the worst starts, the A's, the Braves, but he thinks that they're going to turn it around. I'm not so confident, but we'll see how it goes. And lastly, the Twins. They're giving away games just like they were last year, and it's really disappointing to see. So those are Nels' notes for the fan bases with the best and worst starts to the season. And lastly, his walk-up song he wants everybody to be aware is Careless Whisper by Wham. Thanks again for listening, everybody. We'll see you in a few weeks.